What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow based off the charts are showing and based off the data is suggesting. I'm also going to break down what's happening to the overall market and how this may affect Tesla, and also some big news that came out from Kathy Wood and what Elon Musk said in response to that when it comes to Tesla's share price and the big demand for EVs in the world. Now, before I break anything down, before I get into any more details about what Elon Musk is talking about, what's going on with Tesla's share price, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, deposit any amount of money into the account. You're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is any of these 12 free stocks can be a free Tesla share, a free NEO share, or a mix of all of them. It's a limited time offer that ends just 4 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at Tesla, we're about down like 0.05%, so just barely in the red. And overall, we actually were holding up kind of green for a large chunk of the day. We just got a slight red close as the market did begin to drop at the end of the day. Now, one thing that's very important to mention is the fact that right now OPEC is once again cutting their production, and this is actually not very good for our global economy, of course, as Janet Yellen stated. And this is going to actually lead to a lot more tensions for big companies out there as we are on the verge of a potential earnings recession for big markets out there. Now, as a result of this, we did actually see the Bank of England capitulate in a way when it comes to their tightening. They did end up strengthening their emergency stimulus to help ease the market turmoil. So this is very important for the markets as well because we are starting to see the turmoil have a big effect on the economies all over the world. And some banks are actually kind of going back on quantitative tightening and kind of easing up for the temporary time being. Now, is that really sustainable? I don't really think so. I think there is more tightening to come and there is going to be more blood for the markets, in my honest opinion, especially because we have big events coming up that are going to be very telling. It's important to remember that just a quick correction from my yesterday video, CPI is actually on Thursday, not Wednesday. It's going to be on Thursday, October 13th at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. So how we actually move during this day depends on the report itself because it's actually coming out before the market opens. Historically, as we approach CPI, the market has a tendency of pushing up a bit once we get to the date, and we tend to get a very big reaction on the day of it. Now, many projections are coming out saying that it's not going to be much different from last month's, and that's what like many big economists are kind of agreeing on. We don't truly know until the data comes out. That's the easiest way to put it because right now projections are oftentimes wrong when people least expect it, despite how manipulated the data really is. And the Nasdaq had a big drop today as we are seeing it fall to the 2-year low. And during these big drops right now, the market is still anticipating more and more pain to come. When it comes to Tesla and its comparison to the overall market, it's pretty interesting right now to see that Tesla is dropping with the SPY in the markets. It was delayed to some degree. The price pairs ratio did come down pretty hard recently, but we are waiting to see how this really compares going forward. We may actually see this start to bounce a bit if Tesla does begin to consolidate in the range it's in and maybe see a slight push up going forward. Many big analysts are still giving Tesla big buy ratings, and historically on Tuesdays, they actually tend to be green days for Tesla, despite us seeing some red for today. So I'm hoping that this does end up playing out. As far as data goes, you will notice the overall volume was not that good at about 61 million, a little bit below average. And going down to the short volume percentage, you can see the shorts, the sellers, they are getting the edge in this stock. 56.9% of the volume that we saw just on Friday alone was on the short side. The shorts coming in, people that were selling the stock, all of them coming together, which did play a big role. And I do assume it's going to be very similar today once the data comes out. As far as Max Pain goes, though, it's very important to note Max Pain is currently at $370 for SPY for Friday. So that's a very key indication out there. We could get a slight push to the upside if things go our way, but it really depends on how the SPY and the markets hold up key support and resistance levels. So in my previous videos, guys, I mentioned the fact that this 220 to 216 range for Tesla was very key, and we could get a big bounce off this. What happened into open? just like I had predicted. Tesla would come down. We would enter this range right here. We got a big bounce off that. Tesla went from 218 all the way to 226, a big push to the upside in just 10 minutes. So huge bounce from there as buyers came in. That's very interesting to see. However, what I did end up getting wrong in my prediction was I thought Tesla would get a nice bounce and then start to actually hold up a lot better than this if we got a nice break above 226. Now, I mentioned to you guys 226 was resistance because this is the 0.786 retracement level from a Fibonacci standpoint, and this was previous support for Tesla. So what happened was this was acting as resistance, and Tesla actually struggled to break 226. So that's not what I thought would happen. I thought we could actually push as high as 230. We didn't push as high as I really wanted, and we did get a slight drop near the end of the day. However, this could be a trap by the market makers approaching CPI because the market, like I said, tends to push up during those days. Now, right now, we are still seeing lots of chops, so there isn't a true indication of us truly pushing up just yet. But considering that Tesla got a bounce from this 218 range, I am a little bit more bullish than bearish for at least the short term, unless we get a big break below this level. So, as far as technicals go, all right, it's always important to know your support and resistance levels and what the market is telling us. I mentioned in my previous video, okay, 220 to 216 is a very key zone where Tesla can get those bounces. We have strong support between this range. And I do believe that if we do retest it, we should get a bounce again. Now, if Tesla does break below 216. That's going to be pivotal for the future because a break below 216 gives the potential for us to drop pretty hard to 210. We have to get a bounce off 210. If that's not the case, the 210 to 206 range is very vital because that's where Tesla bounced last time it came this low. So that's another very, very key zone. Now, where we go also depends on the sentiment of the market. The market is still very fearful, and that also depends heavily on CPI. CPI is going to be very important this time because right now the market is just so uncertain about what's going on. And if it is higher than expected, we could see a big crash in the markets, to be as frank with everyone, because the market doesn't like that. But if we do end up beating expectations even just slightly, the market could use any reason to actually push up. Now, if Tesla does get a nice push up over the next couple of days or even tomorrow, 226 is going to be resistance. All right, then you also have to watch that 200 EMA, which is currently at 227. If we do get a nice break above this, that would be a good indication Tesla's going to go to 230. A clean break above 230 is going to be a very good sign for Tesla if we get it, because we have this nice gap all the way up to that 238 level. If this thing can break and hold 230, it's very possible for us to see more volume come in and get a nice push to this gap fill zone if the buyers really start to step in. So far, we saw some buyers come in, but it's not to the degree we want, and we want to see a lot more of them. In a market like this that's very choppy, it could happen almost out of nowhere. So please be very, very ready for that. Now, in my honest opinion, given historical data and the fact that we tend to push up during these big events like CPI as we approach them, and considering that SPY actually came down to a key level, which I mentioned in one of my previous videos, that's between 356 and 358. We got a nice bounce off 357, which was very close to where the low was last time. So this could be a good sign that the market might push up from here, at least temporarily, for the next couple of days. And I'm hoping that SPY gets that nice bounce, because if SPY gets the bounce, the whole market tends to be correlated in a lot of ways. The QQQ, the Nasdaq, they can also follow this zone right here. You can see the Nasdaq also got a nice bounce too. Hoping that this continues, all of this could be good for Tesla going forward. So what am I predicting for tomorrow? Well, guys, we did see a lot of chop right now. Tesla did not move as strongly as I thought it would, but what's good about it is we did get a nice bounce in this zone, so we are still seeing some buyers coming in. What I'm anticipating for tomorrow is a move like this into open. All right, there's probably going to be a lot of chop, and I do think we're going to have another kind of crazy day like this. We could come down a bit, all right, into open just like this. And I'm hoping that if we retest 220 to 218, we should get a nice bounce. If we get a bounce in this zone again, or we make like a higher low, that's going to be a very good sign for Tesla. And I'm hoping that that is the case. Now, remember, it's also possible for other pieces of news and things like that to affect us. So we can't always predict this perfectly. But if we do get a nice bounce, which is what I'm hoping for, we could see another big move to the upside. If the market holds up better going into tomorrow, it's possible for Tesla to hold up this zone, see some chop like this once again at 226. But if we break 226 and hold it like this, it has the potential to push all the way up to 230. Very, very possible. I think we could end up retesting the 200 EMA first. If we get that break above and a close above 226, the next day after, maybe like Wednesday or even like part of Wednesday, we could actually see this thing hit the 230s. Very possible. It's a more bullish possibility. It's more likely to happen, in my opinion. But we need to see buyers step in. We need to see better volume, and that's what we're still waiting for. So for tomorrow, I'm anticipating a move kind of like this. We could come down to retest this key level, get a nice bounce again, and I'm hoping for more buyers to step in and for Tesla to finally break 226 and start approaching 230. Now, once again, we don't always know what the future will hold because Elon Musk could tweet something very big. The whole Twitter fiasco is not necessarily over just yet. Big updates, big pieces of news could still come out, and that's why I'm still very cautious and I watch support and resistance levels very, very carefully. Now, another big thing to note is the fact that the future of the EV market is still very bright, but there is going to be a big change in the car industry. And this is something that Kathy Wood was actually mentioning. And Elon Musk did also have a conversation with her about this recently. So, Kathy Wood stated that given the accelerated consumer preference shift towards EVs, used car prices and residual value of all gas powered autos are likely to plummet, causing serious losses in the $1 trillion auto debt market. So that's a very good point she actually brought up, in my opinion, because right now we're starting to see the used vehicle index coming down on a year over year basis. So right now the values are starting to come down, and this will have a big effect on them. Elon Musk responded that he's very, very keen on this. He's very well aware of this as well. And I believe what this means for Tesla is the fact that if we are starting to see this demand drop on different sectors, it could benefit them in a way, as demand is still very high for these Tesla cars. But we still have to be very wary because the earnings recession can have a negative effect on demand as rates continue to go up and more investors start to learn about this. So please be very careful about this. I don't want to make any claims yet until we get the new earnings reports, especially for Q4. Q4 is historically a very good time for Tesla, so I'm still optimistic and I still think Tesla can reach their expectations, but it also depends on many factors, which is why I'm still going to be as pragmatic and optimistic and realistic, as possible. With that said, when it comes to Tesla, all right, I'm anticipating a slight bounce. I want to see us push up a bit, get some nice buying pressure. If that's not the case, we could see a lot more chop tomorrow, which is why I do think there's going to be a lot of chop, but I'm hoping we get a nice break above 226. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm still prepared for anything just in case things go south. That's why you have to watch these support levels. Do what you have to do, guys. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Tesla to the moon because the long-term future is bright, and peace out.